Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. And it is indeed a good morning, not only for the University of Rhode Island and our many partners on this exciting project, but indeed for the patients, the caregivers, the medical teams, and all the citizens of the state of Rhode Island. My name is Don DeHaze, and I'm the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at the University of Rhode Island. And I think you all know that we're here to announce a very, very exciting new opportunity for the state of Rhode Island. That is the university's receipt of a grant totaling $14 million from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. The grant is entitled Living Right, a Disruptive Solution for Management of Chronic Care Disease. And the brainchild, who's here somewhere behind this grant, is Professor Elena Goldstein. I think it's particularly meaningful that we have this announcement today, this week, which coincides with the 22nd anniversary of the Americans with Disability Act. Very, very appropriate and poignant, I think. I'm going to turn over the podium to the 11th President of the University of Rhode Island, President David Dooley, to make some comments.
Thank you, Don, and thank you all for joining us. This is indeed a terrific occasion for the University of Rhode Island. I want to thank Access Point Rhode Island, which is one of the many grant partners for hosting us here today, and acknowledge that our mayor of this location and of whom Access Point Rhode Island, many other people here are his constituents is with us today, and Mayor Fung, we're delighted to have you with us. It's also my pleasure to acknowledge that some of our key state partners are joining us here today. The Secretary of Health and Services, Stephen Constantino. Stephen, we're always glad to see you and have you and work with us and work with you on these kinds of affairs. Thank you for joining us, Stephen. And the Director of Elderly Affairs, another office and another individual with whom URI works closely in a number of ways, is here today, and we're delighted to have Catherine Taylor with us. Three members of our current Board of Governors for Higher Education in Rhode Island have joined us today, and we're delighted to have them with us as well. We work closely with them, of course, at the University of Rhode Island and everything that we do in public higher education. That's Lauren Adrian, Mike DeCoy, and Tessa Constant, our student representative. Thank you. As Don said, we're here today to officially announce the receipt of a $14 million award to the University of Rhode Island from the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services. A very, very special kind of competitive grant. First, I want to note that this is an extremely competitive process that we went through to be here today. And Associate Research Professor Elena Goldstein did a terrific job in putting together a proposal that could compete with 3,000 others and be one of the 100 selected for an award. And I think that speaks very, very highly of the quality of the faculty at the University of Rhode Island and the stature of the University of Rhode Island, the talent and energy of the people of the University of Rhode Island, that we're able to compete for these kinds of awards on a national level. And Elena, we want to thank you and your colleagues, your many partners, for all your enormous work in making this happen. This is a very, very special project. Others will tell you more about the details. I just want to note a couple things about it. First of all, it's very, very interdisciplinary. 4 of the 8 degree-granting colleges at the University of Rhode Island will be involved in this work, as will many partners across the state. One thing I do want to note is most of the funding that will come into Rhode Island as a result of URI and Elena Goldstein's efforts will actually go into the private sector, our partners. this is economic development and job creation, as well as being research and healthcare delivery advances. And that's, I think, incredibly important for all of us in Rhode Island as we look and work together to try to rebuild the economy of Rhode Island. I think this makes the point, a point that I've made many, many times, that the University of Rhode Island is an economic engine for the state of Rhode Island, that the University of Rhode Island provides opportunities for the people of Rhode Island, that it provides opportunities for economic renewal and economic rehabilitation of our state, and the research activities of the University of Rhode Island can in fact help all of the people of Rhode Island to a better and brighter future, not only by virtue of the actual work that we do, but by virtue of the many positive economic impacts that result from that work. So I think for those reasons, as well as many others, this is a very, very special moment for all of us, and it's my pleasure to have so many people here to share it with us. And the first person who I want to introduce and thank for his support for public higher education, his involvement with us here at the University of Rhode Island, is the Honorable Governor of the State of Rhode Island, Honorable Lincoln Chase.
Very much, and you're doing a great job at the university, and this is another indication of your good work, attracting these valuable research dollars to the University of Rhode Island and to Rhode Island. I'll mention Greg Stenning, also Director Stenning is here joining us also. And with all the debate about the Affordable Care Act, this is a very positive aspect of the Affordable Care Act, putting the money towards research so we can address the reality that so enormous amounts of money are spent on a relatively few number of patients. And these dollars are going to go to support the cognitively challenged adult patients with 2 or more chronic diseases. So a population that takes up a huge amount of our tax dollars, and we want to research how we can better address those concerns. And as President Dooley said, this is a very, very competitive process. Worth repeating those numbers. Out of 3,000 applicants, only 107 were awarded, and only 3 universities in New England, University of Rhode Island, the great University of Rhode Island, Northeastern, and Dartmouth College. There are only 3 in New England to get out of these 3,000 grants. Go URI, keep up the good work.
I think I kick off here next, and I am speaking not only on my own behalf, but on behalf of Senator Reid, who very much wanted to be here, but airline troubles prevented him from flying up this morning. I guess it was stormy in the Washington area. I know that will come as news to you. Stormy in the Washington area. But this was actually physical stormy. And Senator Reid obviously is a very, very strong believer in these reforms. I took his position on the Health, Education, and Labor Pensions Committee, and he has spent a lot of time in this area, and we're both very, very supportive of this and very proud of what URI and Professor Goldstein have accomplished here. I'm delighted to be here with members of the governor and with also members of his administration, Steve Costantino, Catherine Taylor, and Craig Stenning, who are all working very, very hard in this area, and my friends Lauren Adrian and Mike DeCoyan. Glad to be with you. I want to make sure we recognize Eileen Naughton, who is a powerhouse in the State House of Representatives, and Mayor Fung, who is still showing a little bit of sunshine from the St. Mary's Feast Parade yesterday, where we got a lot of it. And of course, President Dooley and Provost DeHaze, congratulations to you as well, but most of all, congratulations to Professor Goldstein. It's a great accomplishment. I want to make 3 points. One, this saves money. The federal government is spending money in order to save money. It's spending money in order to provide better care, and through better care, provide a lower cost solution for patients who might otherwise be getting a lot of unnecessary and conflicting care. So this is the best kind of savings. This is savings that come from improved performance, not savings that come from taking things away from people. So that second point I want to make is that the so-called dual eligible population that this will serve is people who qualify both for Medicare and Medicaid. These are people who have a lot of poverty in their lives. They have a lot of illness in their lives. In the case of this group, they will also have cognitive impairment that will create a hazard and an obstacle for them in dealing in a appropriate way with the healthcare system, and so it's a really, really strong target area. They use a lot of services, and if they can be directed in a more sensible and better way, again, back to the first point, they will receive better care at a lower cost to the taxpayers in a huge win-win. The third point that I want to make is that this is part of a larger Rhode Island success story in this area. Whether you look at the Rhode Island Quality Institute and the changes that it has made in, for instance, reducing hospital-acquired infections in our intensive care units to virtually zero, saving immense money in what otherwise would have gone to treating those. Whether you look at the Chronic Care Sustainability Initiative, which the state, Chris Kohler, has led, that is creating a whole new way of paying for healthcare that provides incentives to drive the system in this direction. Blue Cross is pushing very hard with the new contract they've entered into with Coastal, one of our larger providers, once again directed towards this wonderful sweet spot of improving the quality of care for the patients and saving money for the taxpayers at the same time. And then, of course, I want to salute Representative Naughton and her colleagues in the General Assembly for having funded Current Care, which will build a really robust electronic health record data exchange in Rhode Island, which is really the platform for so much of what we need to do. It's information that really solves a lot of these healthcare problems. So this is a big day for the University of Rhode Island. It is a big day for Rhode Island, and in a larger sense, it is a big day for Rhode Island's nationally recognized leadership in this area of delivery system reform in healthcare. So I'm very proud of everybody who pulled this off, and we will keep in Washington trying to make these opportunities so that Rhode Island can come in and win these grants. We've won a bunch. Women and Infants has won one, Coastal has won one, Rhode Island Quality Institute has won 3. We've got a lot of good stuff going on here, and we want to keep it coming. And on that subject, let me turn to my wonderful colleague in the Congress, David Cicilline, who is a firm and passionate believer in this, and as the Mayor of Providence saw how important it is to get this health care question right. Congressman Cicilline.
First, I want to say congratulations to Dr. Julian, to all the folks at URI on this terrific accomplishment.